Okay, so if you remember back a few videos when we created this form to send our new post to the controller, you remember me saying I'll hard code this for now, this / posts. Now there is a better way of doing this, and this is named roots. So let's jump over to our web.php file and apply a name to our root. So down here on our post, where we're posting to our posts, let's chain on another method. And this is going to be called name. And now this allows us to name our root, so we can reference this name anywhere in our application, whether that be in our views, our controllers, or when we touch on some more advanced topics in other series like jobs and queues and commands. We can still reference this anywhere just by the name that we give it now. So I'm going to call this one posts.store. Now you can name this whatever you like, but the convention normally is to give the first part of the name in relation to what's happening. So this is part of the post controller. And the second part, store, relates to the store method on our post controller. So this just makes it easier for when you're trying to remember the roots that you want to recall, that you know that it's a store method on the post controller. So now let's jump over to our blade view and actually use this. So over in our post.blade.php, inside of this action, we can now get rid of this hard-coded URL, and we'll open up our double curly braces. And now we're going to use a root helper method. So we can just say root, and then we can just pass it in the name of the root that we want this form to post to. So we just created that, so we can say posts.store. Now what this will do is this will link into our web.php file to this root. Now the benefit of having this name here rather than just hard coding it is if you had multiple forms across your application, which you would do as your application grows, and you wanted to change this URI to something else. Maybe you wanted to change it from post to post, for example. Now everywhere in your application that you link to that, you'd have to go in and change it. But now, no matter what we put here, because we're referencing this name, no matter how many times we change this, we won't need to change this anywhere else in our code as long as we're referencing the root name. So that's quite a powerful feature. So I'll just put this back to posts. And we might as well create one here for the getPost method. So we can say name, and we're going to call this posts.index. Now you might see in some applications, people might not use the .index here. They might just use posts. Again, this is completely up to you. But I like to keep it consistent with the controller and then the method that it's linking to. It's just easier to remember, so you don't have to keep jumping into your roots file. So let's just jump over to our terminal and have a look at the roots. So over in our terminal, I'm just going to clear this and run php artisan root : list. And you can see this gives us our root list again. We've seen this in a previous video, but now you also have the root name. So if you ever just need to have a quick look at the full roots within your application, you can just run php artisan root list, and you can see a list of the roots, the HTTP verb they're reacting to, and the name, and also where it's pointing to within your application. So post controller index and post controller store in our circumstance here. So in the next video, let's look at how we can update a current post title.